Welcome to another episode of the Metal Queens podcast, where women who rule the metal world share their stories, power, and passion. I'm Steve Richards. Today on the MQP, we descend into the chaos and beauty of Sibyl, the Memphis, Tennessee-based progressive blackened grind trio that's shaking the underground with their debut single, Just Know That I Care. You like that intro so far?
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Fronted by the intense and fearless Jordan, Sibyl fuses grindcore's relentless speed with black metal's venom and eerie progressive depth. Their new EP, Desperations of Hollow Masses, is out now. It's brutal, haunting reflection on human decay and despair. Welcome, Jordan from Memphis, lead vocalist of Sibyl, to the Metal Queens podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here. So take us back to the beginning. How did Sybil come together, and what drew you, Ace, and Jeff into this particular extreme sound too?
So I wish it had a little bit more depth, honestly. I got a corgi he's almost 2 years old, and he's incredibly rambunctious. And I started making these noises at him. And my boyfriend, who is Ace, was like, "Can you not just figure out how to stream that into a sentence? Can you not just figure out how to do that?" And I was like, "No." And I don't have time because I have a full-time job, a candle business, way too many hobbies, way too many hobbies. And so eventually I said, if you can get Jeff to agree, I'll give it a go. And so for months, they just kind of let me have a go at it. And I would just make noises and like sometimes get really drunk in the front, just drink and scream. And eventually I kind of settled on like this goblin gurgly vocal fry that I have. And I really enjoy doing it. It's super fun. I was classically trained to sing from like the age of like 10 to 18, and I smoked a bunch when I was a teenager and completely like ruined all of my like talent for that. And I'm pretty sure that every time I go to practice or get on stage, my vocal coach Betty Lou is probably rolling over in her grave, but that's okay. I made her do that in life as well.
You are from Mississippi originally. How did you meet these guys?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So so Jeff was in a band called Murder Turd, and and yes. And so they were playing some little like some event at Minglewood Hall, and I had just started going to metal shows, and I showed up and I was like, wow, I need this shirt because they had like these shirts that had like the turd emoji, and then it said Murder Turd. And so, but I didn't have any cash on me. And I was like, wow, I really want this shirt. And he was like, just take it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get you back. And for like a whole like I swear it was over 6 months that I owed him money for two shirts. And finally, I think I just showed up and gave him like $80 in cash one day. And I was like, it's been like a year and a half, just fucking here. Because I just took your merchandise. And so that's how I met Jeff. It's all started over Murder Turd
Murder Turd
t-shirts.
T-shirt. I love it. And Ace.
Um, Good grief. Um, I met him, I was single, and I met him on a dating app. And we got together about 3 years ago, and it's just like I think we met one day, and I it's like we have never spent one day apart. Um, he just fans my dumpster fire. Like any idea, I'm like, hey, I've got this idea and I'm gonna see if I can't make it work. And he's usually like, okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. And he just, I don't, kind of just like, I don't know. He's behind the scenes helping me pull my strings a lot of the time, and I sure appreciate him for it. But
Where
that's how I met him.
where did the name Sybil
Pardon?
come from?
I wanted something like I don't know. I like nuance a lot.
Mhm.
And I wanted something like witchy and spooky, but just one word. And like I don't know. I've always really liked the name Sybil growing up. Someone that I knew had a grandmother named Sibyl, and I started looking into band names and things like that. And Sybil were like the oracles of the Greek temple that could see the future and prophesize, and I think that's a that'd be a real good trait to have. And I feel like it just really fell in line with the spookiness and witchiness that I wanted to bring to the project.
Just Know That I Care is a crushing debut, but also deeply emotional too, Jordan. What does that song mean to you personally?
So I had this wonderful human named Andrew Crenshaw, and Drewby is what I called him. And when I first moved here, he found me, I guess, about a year or two after I moved here, and he just really kept me safe and really like we had so much fun together. He was just a great human. He called himself my adopted dad. And I think about 3 years ago now, he shot himself.
Mm.
And um, so he's passed away. And Just Know That I Care was written. I wrote it in one day and I was so fucking mad at him. I was just like, how dare you? Like, how dare you? Like, how dare you? You would have chastised me to death for even coming to even saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about dying." You would have told me how crazy I was and how much I had to live for. And here you are putting me in this situation. And it really upset me. And so anyway, I wrote this song about him, and I've gotten a few signs that I personally feel like beyond the grave or of approval. Because one thing he really liked to do also is like playfully piss me off. And
Mm.
there's been a couple things that have happened around my house that I'm like, all right, I see you, asshole. I love you and I miss you. But check in, you know. But yeah, that's what that song is about. It's about me missing my friend. And when I'm saying how you smoldered your own fire, there's not even a spark, is what I'm saying during that silent part, because he did that. He smoldered his own fire, and then I follow it with, and everything around me is just so fucking dark, because that's what I felt for a long time and still do at times.
Yeah.
I'll still tear up and cry over him occasionally. I just miss his guidance so much.
Was it really helpful to write that song?
It is so cathartic every time.
Yeah.
Every time I perform it. I don't know. I haven't talked to them, to Ace and Jeff, and been like, hey, it's never getting removed from the set list, but it may never. Because it's something so like, I don't know, just to be able to like dredge up something like from like your deep depths is and just to get it out there, just to be able to produce like any kind of like energetic force from the inside over something so emotional, is it's relieving. It's not reliving at this point.
Yeah. Sibyl's sound blends black metal's atmosphere, grindcore chaos, even progressive touches too. How intentional was that fusion, or did it evolve naturally in the band?
So when I started doing the vocals that I do, I find it really funny that I speak this deeply but scream that high. It's I don't know how to explain it or what or make it make sense. And so when I started making the kind of noises that I make, I basically was like, hey, let's entertain black metal. The grindcore aspect is really because he's an incredibly technical musician. He started by playing the upright bass. Like that is his primary instrument. And so I've watched him evolve because I've watched him through all of his bands. He has Mud Show, Hate Doctrine, Seeing Hell, Murder Turd is no more, but he had Murder Turd when I met him. And he's just so technical and mapped out with the things that he does. But watching him drum is just a little bit different than watching him on bass. But he's just so like, man, I don't know. He lays down the law. So it just kind of became this fusion. And personally, I want to, moving forward, really harness a little bit more of the traditional black metal, because in the world that we live in and with that genre, my beliefs and my political alignment and my thoughts and views are very different than traditional black metal. And I think to be able to take up space in that world as a woman that's not going to give a shit if you have a problem with me or tell me I suck, I think is very empowering. I also just I really like black metal. the bands that I can, research and make sure not, are not complete pieces of shit, because you always have to look. Because like one of my favorite things that's come out somewhat recently was, and I've felt so guilty about it, and I'm still not done with my research, was the Drogville album. Because the cover of it is AI. He's like in his armor, like laid out, and the roses are sprouting straight out of the ground, right?
Yeah.
But I think, and now Ace told me this, and I need to go do my own research. But he told me that they did an interview with Drogville himself, and that the music itself is not AI, just the cover. But I don't know if shit like that's going to creep up into genres, if people are going to use AI to create all of this stuff. Like, it only makes me want to do it more authentically, because because AI is gonna drain just the soul out of everything. Like, it's headed there. It's headed there. Because when I write about something, about I'm writing about like real stuff. I'm not writing about, like, you have Replica, for example. And I wrote that about, there was this woman that had befriended me, and I found out she was married to a pedophile.
Mhm.
That's what that song is about. And that she is a joke, and that she is a trickster. And AI just can't replicate this stuff.
No.
I mean, it's impossible, but I'm so afraid for the art world to just be taken over, because it's so hard. I used to be in the hair industry, and I got out because that's another form of art. It's another part of the art world. And to make it in that industry, you don't know what you're making, like, week to week as far as a paycheck. It's hard. And you've just got some damn computer that can just pop up whatever, write you a whole album in 10 minutes. No, somebody's got to stay behind and continue to try to trudge ahead through the robots.
And writing from your soul.
Absolutely.
Your vocals have this raw, visceral edge. What's your approach to channeling emotion and aggression through your voice?
I think it's really like a headspace I go into, where I'm incredibly grounded. I just kind of open my mouth. Just
That's it.
open my
It's
mouth.
that simple.
I just open. Yeah, I mean, it is now, but it wasn't. I really had to work super hard to get to the sound that I'm making, because metal vocals are not easy in general. And everybody was like, "Oh, check YouTube." YouTube taught me literally nothing,
Mm.
because it's like putting on a dress. We can wear the same size, but the dress is going to look completely different on both of us. So I just kept kind of like going and going until I figured out where I was comfortable. So kind of when I'm doing vocals, it's very much like it's a vomitous motion.
Vomitous.
It's vomitous. It's very much like the shape that I'm making with my throat is like the same shape that I feel like it makes when I throw up. That's disgusting. I'm sorry, but it is.
Good
When I
way to
first
put it.
started doing this, it got to the point where, like, sometimes they would just look over, and I would cover my arm like this. I would cover my mouth like this, because I would be standing there just gagging. And I was like, "Mm-mm, no, I'm going to figure it out, but I might throw up first, but I'm going to figure it out." I'm a very determined individual. If my focus is shifted to something, I'm gonna figure out why I can or can't do it, but I'm gonna figure it out.
The
But yeah,
the EP is Desperations of Hollow Mass as it explores themes like futility and human decay. What inspired, you touched on it a little bit, what inspired those ideas, and how much of that comes, we know the single definitely comes from personal experience versus just observation.
so what comes versus just observation versus like things I've actually been through, like how am
Yes,
I
on
getting
the
these
other
topics?
tracks. Yep.
So okay, so the three of the four tracks are about people. Ender is I'm just saying a bunch of really hateful shit, and I'm not saying it to anybody, but I'm just mad. um, really, I kind of I'll just kind of look around me and see what's going on. Right now, like I said, I've written about these three different personal situations. Moving forward, I plan to keep kind of writing stuff like Ender, very like kind of dreary. Just like I really want to invoke heavy emotions. I understand that most people can't understand what I'm saying, but I want to always convey grief is a constant theme for me, unfortunately. I've been through but I live with a lot of grief. And so I plan to keep writing things kind of from that area of my psyche, just very kind of mysterious and winding and wary. And that's kind of where I feel like I sit with everything is very, very high emotion.
What was the recording process like with Ace producing? Was there a specific moment during that recording process that you felt the band had truly captured its identity?
I do. I do and I don't. Um, I feel like we were all very inspired to like blast this EP out. We did Just So That I Care in Replica at Black Horse Studios with one of my friends, Jamie Hall, recorded it. And then the rest of it we actually recorded in Jeff's living room, which Ace really wanted to do because he was like, okay, this is like where this started. So like he felt to finish this EP, to finish it where we started, which I think is sentimental, corny, cute. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a very sentimental person. So it was all kind of laid back. Like this whole band thing with between me, Ace, and Jeff it's very laid back. It's very like just kind of puzzle piece, like, oh, I like that. I like that. Okay, I have this thing written. I'm gonna try to scream it along with y'all. And of course, it's never gonna fit perfect the first time you do it. And I'm gonna edit what I've written back and forth. But that's kind of what I do. And I just kind of let them run with it so far. There's some things I've written that I'm gonna be like, all right, I want this slower, I want this faster coming up for hopefully an album. But that's kind of how our writing process goes, is that everybody's kind of easy peasy. It's no drama, just hey, I like this. Hey, I like that. Hey, this goes together. Which is really nice. Not complaining about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. EP out now, so there are plans for a full album next year.
I really want to start working on it. I have a bunch of stuff written that, of course, I continually go through, and I'm like, this sucks. Wait, this sucks. And then I'll like play with something, and I'll be like, oh no, that's cool. And then I'll read it like 2 days later, and I'm like, that can be cooler. Um, but I just continuously try to stay engaged with like reading something or watching something in particular to draw influence from as well. But yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. I hope to start working on an album before the end of this year or the beginning of next year. But kind of got to check in with Jeff because Jeff does have like three other bands. So gotta see when we can get penciled in. But I have plans for an album.
And plans for touring next year in support of the EP and or album?
Not as of right now. So I've never done anything like this. So I'm just kind of like one by one, kind of tackling one thing at a time because I also don't want to just like do anything that we're not ready for. As of right now, I'm not opposed to touring. But I have to kind of have the situation arise to do that. I would like a little bit more material to work with before
Yeah.
we, just just strike out on the road.
What would be if you did, what would be your dream tour lineup? Sibyl plus, let's say, two other bands, dead or alive.
Mainly for Ace, but because I know that we would fit, would be Deaf Heaven.
Hmm.
I We would fit with them really, really well. Things that I'm working on, things that Ace is working on would definitely fit with them. Um, that would be an awesome lineup to be on. Uh, personally, if I could ever play with a band, it's gonna always be Deftones. That's because they're my
Mm.
favorite band, and I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
they ask so many it's not random. Like they're so they're so all over the board that they can ask so many all over the board artists to like work with them that I feel like their lineups always come out really cool. But yeah, I could totally see us playing Dio de los Muertos, Dia de los Deftones in California, right? But
Let's talk.
probably Death Heaven or Cradle,
Yeah, nice. Memphis.
Necrogoblicon. Sorry, I keep coming up with ideas. My bad. Excuse me.
Memphis has a deep musical history, of course, but extreme metal isn't usually what comes to mind when you think Memphis. What is the metal scene like there today?
Um, right now we have a lot of hardcore bands. Um, got a couple doomish bands, and then like death metal. And then I think the only other grind-y band I can think of off the top of my head right now is Interna. And that's really it. I wish we had a little bit more going. Then again, people have lives and jobs, and anything to do with a band is kind of a lot of energy and work. So I understand. But yeah, I'm just kind of sitting back, kind of watching what's happening and watching who's coming through. And it's a lot of hardcore, which is fine. Not necessarily my thing, but I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum.
Hmm. And I know you work with a festival too there, and it'll be back next year. Memphis Hates You.
Yes, sir.
Just watch out and look out for the dates for that festival next year in Memphis, Tennessee. So, and finally, I was going to call you Sibyl Jordan. Uh,
I'd have been like, uh-huh, okay.
what do you hope listeners feel after hearing Sibyl and this EP beyond the heaviness and the chaos?
I hope that somebody can sit back and listen to what I'm writing and just feel something. Just feel anything. Really, when I start writing something, when I go into something, I'm calling in all the energy around me. I'm calling in me. I'm calling in absolutely just everything in the universe. And I'm hoping that someone really truly feels that power behind what I'm writing. I hope someone can feel cathartic. I hope it sounds like I'm slightly in pain because usually when I'm screaming about something, it's something that I do find painful. It's something that's been, something I'm getting out there. I hope that people feel grief and sadness, but also like they kind of want to punch a wall.
Mm. She is Jordan, lead vocalist from Sibyl, a voice of unrelenting power, and I mean power, the new wave of extreme metal. Check out their debut single, Just Know That I Care, now on Bandcamp, and their EP2, Desperations of Hollow Masses. Jordan, thanks so much for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast.
Thank you so much.
For more interviews with the women who are redefining heavy music, stay locked in to this podcast, the Metal Queens podcast. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, write a review. Until next time, I'm Steve Richards. Thanks for watching.